came to Hollywood to work.
This is just a dream.
I was like, what? I was like, all these people are in this movie? Do you know?
Indie Scene.
Successful model? That's a myth. The year I modeled was the most painful year of my life. Editors would always talk to you in the third person as though you were merely a piece of merchandise. Jessica Lange, American actress. When she was 17 years old, our guest left her country, Brazil, to work as a model in Italy. That was the first step to start a professional career in the entertainment industry outside her country. Now, Rebecca da Costa is a promising actress with more than 5 important credits in films in Hollywood. Bienvenida, Rebecca.
Muchas gracias.
So, do you agree with Jessica Lange that being a fashion model is like being treated like a piece of merchandise?
I don't agree. Well, I did it for 10 years, and again, you have to remember, it's a business about the way you look. So you have to be comfortable, if you sign up for it. I mean, they're going to be talking about the way you look, how the clothes fit. And I just think you have to be comfortable. And I thank God, for me, it was a very pleasant experience. As I said, I did it for 10 years. I was able to travel all around the world to help my family with my job. And to come to LA still as a model.
So talking about that, what skills from your modeling years have helped you in your acting career?
I think mainly to be comfortable in front of a camera, to know how to work my angles, to know how to work the lights. And I think that's mainly it. And also, of course, the traveling, the life experience that I achieved, that helps me as well to build my characters.
That's probably one of the biggest thing. You're being like living from Brazil, living in Europe, now in LA. That vast experience make you grow as a person.
Yes.
And that you can translate into your characters.
Definitely. I mean, everybody that I met, I lived in Italy for many years, Greece, Germany, and all those things made me grow and helped me helps me to build my characters.
If you can compare the stress of modeling with the stress of shooting a film, how can you compare both of them?
Oh God, there is no comparison. Because in modeling, after a while, you just get so used to it. You don't need to be present. Sometimes you're shooting, posing, and your mind is somewhere else. Okay. And when you're acting, you have to be present. Because if you're not present, the camera catches it, and you just don't do a good job. And plus all the homework you have to do. I mean, it's a lot of work. It's very heavy stuff. I mean, there is no comparison.
Unlike many other beautiful models that wanted to act in films and TV, you decided to take acting classes. Mm-hmm. Why the training in acting was so important to you?
I think more than anything, I want to be great in what I do, And in order for me to be that, I really need to learn my craft, So for me, it was very important to educate myself, to get as much experience as I could, to feel prepared.
And there's so many actors nowadays that great actors and actresses that said that they never stop learning.
Yes.
So sometimes when we see young people not preparing themselves, it's a little bit...
No, we never stop learning in life. Every day you learn something new. And just as any other job, I mean, if you want to be a lawyer, you have to go to university and study. The same for a doctor, and the same should apply for an actor. I like to think of myself as an athlete that's going to the Olympics or something, So I like to devote few hours of my day, every day, to learn my craft.
You mostly are doing film and TV in LA. Do you think in the future you can do theater as a part of the training? Because most of the great actors and actresses come from theater.
Yes.
And us as an actors, we want to, be as good as them.
Yes, I would love to do theater. I did some back in Brazil before I started traveling. And I mean, it's a whole different world to perform in front of a live audience. My God, it's so frightening. But at the same time, it's amazing. You know, you're like, you feel their energy and you're there and you can't, you know, there is no going back. You have to, you know, you cannot cut and do it again. You have to be always on. And I'd love to do that. Maybe Broadway, I don't know. You know, I dream very big.
That
so,
should be amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your first appearance as an actress in Hollywood was in the TV show Entourage.
Mm-hmm.
2 years after that, you were working in your first film, L.A. I Hate You. How did you get the opportunity to work in that film?
I did the audition. I went to the audition about 3 times. And I got the part. And of course, I was very nervous. And my first scene was with William Forsythe. And I remember very clearly, my legs were shaking. I was like, my God. I was just supposed to approach him and say, you know, what would you like to drink? But I was just so nervous. And the moment I arrived and said my line, he noticed. So he said, you know what, you're very good. And he was just being polite, but made me feel so comfortable. I was like, oh, thank God. So from then on, I started to really improvise and do little things, different things. And yeah, it was a great movie.
How was working in Entourage?
That's cool. Well, school was my first job here.
And I love that show.
Yeah.
I really did love that show.
Yeah, the guys there are a lot of fun. It was my first job, so I was like really excited. I just booked my first role and it was just fun. You know, it was the last episode of the season, so everybody was in a very relaxed mood.
And it's good that you're having those experiences. When it goes into the bigger experiences, it really helps you to be in set, to be, you know, to be around all the people in the movie, business producers, the DP, the script supervisor, and that kind of help you when you get bigger jobs in the future. Sometimes opportunities float right past your nose. Work hard, apply yourself, and be ready. When an opportunity comes, you can grab it. Julie Andrews Edwards, English actress and singer. The minute that you're not learning, I believe you're dead. Jack Nicholson, American actor. You have principal roles in the horror movies Mind Games and Seven Below. Let's talk about those movies and what did you learn as an actress filming or doing these horror films?
I learned a lot. I mean, you think it would be easy, but it's very hard to do a horror movie because, again, you have to be genuine. You really need to show the audience that you are believing that you've been haunted by some supernatural power or that thing is really happening. So you really need to put yourself in that mindset of, oh my God, this is happening, and it's hard. It's hard work, and I learned a lot. Seven Below we shot in Cincinnati, and it was just a great experience. Yeah.
How did you approach as an actress developing the character in those films? Like you said, you need, even if it's horror film is not true what's happening, but you need to look genuine.
Yes,
that something supernatural is happening.
Yeah.
How do you approach that as an actress?
It's the same approach as I do for all my other roles. It's just about really believing what's going on. It's like, if my job is to really believe that there is a ghost haunting me, I'm really going to start thinking about that. I said, oh my God, there's a ghost haunting me. And that's, just have to believe. And as long as you believe that, that's going to be genuine and people are going to see that thing's really happening.
What was the experience working with Val Kilmer?
He's really cool, and our first scene, as I said, I was very nervous, and I totally forgot my lines. I froze, as they say. But he was really cool because then he started to improvise, and I started to improvise with him, and the director loved it. He goes, "Oh, that's the take we're gonna use in the movie," and that's what they used. Did
he give you some tips, some acting tips, some insights as a newcomer in the industry?
No acting tips, no. But just the fact that he was there supporting me. He could see that I was nervous and that he was, okay, I'm gonna make this work. Just come with me. I think that was really nice of him.
Since the times of Carmen Miranda to Jennifer Lopez, Salma Hayek and Sofia Vergara, being beautiful and sexy is the same of being a sexy Latina bombshell. How difficult is for a young, beautiful Latina actress in Hollywood not to be stereotyped as a sex symbol, and if that bothers you or not?
How difficult? I mean, it doesn't bother me at all because I believe people always gonna judge you by the way you look. If you're, curvy, sexy, people are gonna say, "Oh, she's a bombshell." If you're short and not meeting how do you say, if you're short and people are gonna say, "Oh, he's just a character type of actor." People are always gonna judge you the way you look, and I take that in my advantage. All I want is just somebody to give me a chance and say, "Okay, she looks pretty, and let's just see what she can do." And that's what I want, because once I have the chance to show what I can do, that's when I said, "Okay, I can book that, I can get that," and it doesn't bother me at all.
So, what type of characters Rebecca da Costa, the person, wants to portray? What challenged you as an actor to portray? Like you said, I want to do this.
Yes, every role that I do, it's something that I haven't done before and that I feel challenged. With the Bagman, I mean, the character, she had many layers. She's very weak, she's very sharp. And I told myself, oh my God, if I can do this, I can do anything, because it was a big challenge for me. Especially acting not in my first language. So I always need to be more aware than the other American actors, because that's an extra thing that I need to worry about it.
Do you have any preference between doing drama, horror films, comedy, adventures, action? You want to do it all?
I want to do everything. I don't want to be just typecast as a comedian or as a drama actor. And so far I've to see that, like, if you look at my career, all the roles that I've done, they're all different from each other. And that's what I want to continue doing.
Which Latina actress do you admire or think of her as a role model for your career? Why? And is there anyone else non-Latina that you admire as well and you want to kind of follow her footsteps?
Latina actress, a Brazilian actress called Fernanda Montenegro. She's amazing. She was the first Brazilian actress to be nominated for an Oscar about, I think, 10 years ago, for a movie called Central Station. And she's the definition of what an actor should be, which is committed to her craft, really genuine, focused, and extremely talented. Of course, Meryl Streep.
She's the best.
Helen Mirren, exactly, because they've been in this business for many, many years, and they were able to reinvent themselves throughout the years, and that's what I dream to achieve.
Do you want to work in other markets, like movies in Europe, South America, Brazil?
Yes,
course,
I'd love to do that. Yes, I speak Italian, I speak Spanish, una mezcla de portugués y español. Entonces, pero yes, I'd love to do something in Brazil, in Italy, France. Maybe that's one of my goals for next year, to learn French.
You have so many. You speak so many languages, and you can maybe play so many accents. Is there anyone that you prefer to do? You think you can play like the Italian with the Italian accent, the Hispanic with an Hispanic accent, or maybe do the complete neutral American accent? Like, can you play with that?
Well, the American accent is really a challenge. I mean, it's very hard if you think about the other actresses that are out there, like Penelope Cruz, Monica Bellucci, Sophia Loren. I mean, they weren't able to really turn off their accent. It's really hard. As far as which one I would prefer to do it, Italian accent is quite easy and it's fun because it has all the intonation,
And the good thing is having an accent. I have an accent, so it's like it's your own. It's your own persona. So when I see Penelope Cruz acting with her accent, I just love her.
Yeah.
So I think the best role models for women are people who are fruitfully and confidently themselves, who bring light into the world. Meryl Streep, American actress. It's what I learned from the great actors that I work with. Stillness. That's all, and that's the hardest thing. Morgan Freeman, American actor. In The Bagman, that you mentioned before, you have the opportunity to work with two great actors, Robert De Niro and John Cusack. How was the experience, and what was the most challenging moment as an actress with them, working with them?
The experience was just mind-blowing. You know, when I first got the phone call that said, you got the part and you're playing opposite John Cusack and Robert De Niro, I was like, this is just a dream. I couldn't believe it. And of course, I prepared myself a lot because I knew, when you work with people in that caliber, you really need to bring your best game. So it was just amazing.
You mentioned something before, like you were speaking about different languages and accent. Being this one like a big role for you, how difficult was for you, being your second language English, to play the role in The Bagman?
I think that was the most difficult part. That's why I said, when I got the part, I was like, if I can do this, I can do anything. Because she had a lot of dialogue, and she's very sharp and she's very quick. So I knew I need to feel very comfortable with the language. I worked very hard with an accent reduction coach, and her name is Jessica Drake, and we did work for like hours every day for 2 months, sometimes 5-6 hours. Plus I would work at home, because when you work in a language that's not your first language, that's an extra thing that you need to worry about it, and you go through this psychological war inside of yourself, because there is a part of me that I want to say the things like I would say in Portuguese with the same intonation, like a simple thing like I love you. I want to say in the sound how I would say in Brazil, eu te amo, which is you stress the last word more doing that movie. Yeah.
How was working with Robert De Niro and John Cusack on set? How is that,
As I said, I knew that, I would be very nervous. The guy's a legend. And I knew my only tool was really to prepare myself so that I would feel comfortable enough to be on a set with him. And that's what I did. And John and I, we have, my most scenes are with John Cusack, and we did meet. We arrived in New Orleans 2 months before we started shooting. And he's just a nice guy, so we had a lot of time to get to know each other and to exchange ideas, and he's very creative, very passionate about acting, and that for me was very exciting, So by the time we got to the set, I wasn't nervous at all, because it was just me and John, and we knew what we were doing. And the same with De Niro. We met before, the night before we shot our first scene, and we talked about Brazil, the time that he spent in Brazil, and so I didn't feel nervous when you were shooting the scenes. Because as well, when you work with someone, after 2 days, you totally forget who they are. They just become, another actor, and you see everybody's trying to do their best.
I read in an interview that you spent 2 months preparing, like what you said, for The Bagman. And you mentioned a little bit about the process and about the accent, but how was the acting process itself, like the breakdown of the role, or what you did as an actress to prepare for this role?
So what I do, I map my script. It really becomes like a map, so that I don't get lost, because as you know, when we're shooting a movie, you shoot totally out of order. So for each scene, I would break down and say, what was my moment before, what was my moment after, what is my moment after, and to really not get lost, to really know where my character was in every single scene. I work with an acting coach called Larry Moss. He's fantastic. He has helped Leonardo DiCaprio with Blood Diamond. Who else? Hilary Swank with $1 Million Baby. So he helps me, to achieve my goals. And it's really it's a long process. I sit by myself for sometimes 10 hours just writing things down, like things that are not in the script, because you need to create an entire life. The character was not born on the first page of the script. She was born way before. So I really need to think to myself, okay, how was her childhood? How was her father? How was her mother? I need to know her so well inside out, like I was that person. And that takes many, many hours of developing and creating that character, bringing that character to life.
How do you feel after shooting the whole movie and that you really did your job? What sense of accomplishment did you, I imagine, that you felt after shooting?
It's a sweet and sour feeling. It's like I got to the hotel, I was like, it's over. I made it, thank God. But the other feeling is like I devoted so many hours to that person, and it was such intense experience that there was a part of me that I felt very sad. It's like you're leaving someone behind, someone that you knew so well. So I feel a little sad afterwards. I felt sad for like a few weeks after.
You said in an interview that you were interested in studying psychology.
Mm-hmm.
In Breaking at the Edge, you played Bianca Wood, a pregnant woman with bipolar disorder. How was that experience, and how your interest in psychology helped you to portray this complex character?
That movie was so hard to make because, as you said, she's bipolar, and throughout the movie she becomes schizophrenic. And one thing is for you to play somebody that's crazy. The other thing is for you to really try to get in her mindset and really try to feel how it would be if I was losing my mind. And it's a fine line. And I did a lot of research. I talked with a lot of psychiatrists to really understand the disease. And I watched a lot of interviews, and I met with some people that suffered from bipolar, a disease. And it took a lot of my energy. And I remember very clearly, I went to see Black Swan when it first came out with Natalie Portman. And I love to go to movies by myself. I just love going to the theater and just staying there, And I remember very clearly, I was leaving the theater, and I thought, my God, it was an amazing part to play. I wish one day in my life I would have had that opportunity to play something like that. And a few months later, I got Breaking at the Edge. I was like, yes, that's so cool. But let me tell you, it takes a lot of energy. I mean, every day I would come to the hotel to feel so tired. And I really felt like I was losing my mind almost, because it was just very draining.
Gracias, Rebecca.
Mm-hmm.
Life beats down and crushes the soul, and art reminds you that you have won. Stella Adler, American actress and acting teacher. Thanks for watching us, and see you next week on the indie scene.